What is going on YouTube? It is MMA centric and today's video is going to be electric because today are my fight predictions for UFC 266. Essentially what this video is going to be is me just talking about each fight a little bit, analyzing each fighter, and eventually giving my predictions on each fight. Now, um, there's two fights that I missed that are an early preliminary and that are Dan Hooker and Marlon Moraes. I'm not going to be doing those because for today I'm only doing the main cards. So to start the card off, we have a women's bout between Jessica Andrade and Cynthia Calvillo. Jessica Andrade, is coming off of a loss. Her last fight being against Valentina Shevchenko. When you're facing an opponent like Valentina, it's really hard to deal with. She's one of the more experienced and one of the more fighters at the top of the division, and her level is just insane. Um, Jessica Andrade is 21-9. She's a Muay Thai kickboxer who has insanely good jiu-jitsu. Like she's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. She has 2 submission wins, 4 KO/TKOs, 6 decision wins. She has wins over people like Thug Rose Namajunas, who is a champion right now. She has wins over Caitlin Chukagian. So just big names overall, And although she is currently coming off of a loss, and her opponent as well, the challenger is also coming off of a loss. She has a decision loss against Chukagian, who Jessica Andrade has a win over. But then she also has a win over Jessica I, who is also a fierce opponent to face. So overall, a tough fight to judge. But if I had to give my opinion, Jessica Andrade for me wins this fight. I think everything about this fight just goes into her favor. Cynthia Calvillo is a freestyle fighter fighting out of the Team Alpha Male gym. I want to say I think I'm right. She trains up there at the Team Alpha Male, and you know I just feel like Jessica Andrade's ground game and her grappling and her just overall harassing and her pressure style is going to be a little too much for Cynthia. But if Cynthia can come out there and keep range, keep the distance, and land good strikes, I feel like she's going to give her a good fight. But I do have Jessica Andrade winning this, and I feel she's going to win by decision. I don't think this fight gets finished. Um, like I said, her style is very ground heavy and very very like she likes to handle you a lot, likes to control you a lot. So I feel like that's gonna be most of the fight. It's kind of gonna be like a Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson kind of fight, in my opinion. More ground based, but we'll see. You never know. Um, it's always a good fight when you have Jessica Andrade in the cage. So gonna be something to look out for. As we move on up in the card, we have a heavyweight bout. Um, Curtis Razor Blades. He's a very well known name in the heavyweight division. He is coming off of a loss, and the loss was against Derek the Black Beast Lewis, who just lost in his interim championship bout against Cyril Gane. So that's something to look after. And he's 4-2 in his last 6. And this fight is hard to judge because in the blue corner you have a guy like Jazario Biggie Boy Rosenstrike, who is also 4-2 in his last 6. But I think one thing that separates these guys is Curtis Blades is the bigger guy. He has better wrestling. But the thing is, both of these guys have a knockout over Alistair Overeem. They both have a knockout over JDS. But then you look at Biggie Boy, he also has a knockout over Andrei Arlovsky, compared to Curtis Razor Blades, who has decision win over Volkov and Hunt. And I feel like Jazario is just better at finishing fights. I feel like Yes, he took a loss to Cyril Gahn, but it was via decision. And then, literally right after his loss to Cyril Gahn, he comes out and knocks his opponent out. And he also has a loss to Francis Ngannou as well. So Cesario Rosenstrike does have fights against two of the current champions in the heavyweight division right now. The interim champ, which was a loss, and the current champ, which was also a loss. So uh, it's pretty hard to judge, but if I had to choose, I think I'm going Cesario Biggie Boy Rosenstrike. I feel like he's more toe to toe with these top guys than Curtis Blades is. I feel like Curtis Blades still needs a bit more. I don't know what it is, but I feel like he's missing something. He's the bigger guy by 2 inches, 2 inch reach advantage. It's really hard. If he comes out here and out wrestles Cesario, then I feel like he'll get the fight. But I feel like Cesario has potential to finish this. I feel like he has potential to catch Curtis Blades, and I feel like he's gonna win this fight via finish. So yeah, I got Cesario Rosenstrike via finish in this fight. I know some people aren't gonna like that, and I'm a fan of Curtis Blades, but I feel like Cesario Rosenstrike is a little more polished just because he's already faced both current champions in their division. Then you have a fight like the third fight on the card, which is a classic. People are calling this the uh, people's main event, if you will, because fans going crazy about this one. You have two fan favorites. You have a super fan favorite in Nick Diaz. The Diaz brothers, the Stockton brothers coming out here. Obviously, they're mega stars. It's gonna be a good fight to see. Nick Diaz is 3-3 in his last 6 fights. He's coming off of a loss to Anderson Silva, which was ruled a no contest. Um, and then before that fight, he lost to George St. Pierre, who people consider the greatest fighter of all time. And before the loss to GSP, he's coming off of a loss to Carlos Condit, who just retired recently. Um, but I feel like one thing to take notice in is that before the loss to Carlos Condit, Nick Diaz was on like an 11 fight win streak. He was running through people. I'm not sure if it was 11, but I think it was somewhere around there. I want to say 11. Um, Compared to Ruthless Robbie Lawler, who's currently 1-5 in his last 6. And I hate to say it, but his last 5 losses have been to guys who I don't know if I could put them higher than Nick Diaz. That's the thing. He has losses to guys like Neil Magny, who we all know he has great wrestling. He has losses to guys like Kobe Covington, who we know fought for the championship and did not get it against Kamaru Usman. He has lost to a guy like Ben Askren, who just took a loss, I want to say a year ago to Jake Paul in a boxing match, which was a questionable loss anyways, because some people could say that fight got stopped early, but it's still a loss. A loss is a loss. And Robbie Lawler also has losses to RDA and Tyron Woodley, who Tyron Woodley just faced Jake Paul as well in a boxing match. Um, and his only win is against Cowboy Cerrone, which I can't really judge that fight too hard because it's Cowboy, and I don't want to sound disrespectful, but in the most respectful way possible. Donald Cowboy Cerrone is the gatekeeper of the UFC. Some people are going to be mad at me for saying that, but I feel like for people to bounce back, they fight guys like Cerrone. And man, this is a tough one right here, but to be honest, I got Nick Diaz. I just don't think Robbie Lawler is anywhere close to him. I think Robbie Lawler is entering the backside of his career right now. I feel like his career is on the decline. Um, Nick Diaz is the bigger guy. They moved it up to a middleweight bout. If you guys didn't know, this was supposed to be a welterweight bout. And the Nick Diaz camp wanted to move it to middleweight. So, Robbie Lawler was okay with it. His camp was okay with it. So they moved it to middleweight. And now Robbie has to make up weight. He went from cutting weight to try to make 170 to now he has to get back up weight to make 185. So really tough situation. I'm not sure if it'll mess with Robbie that much. I don't know. But that could play a factor. So we'll just have to see. But I have Nick Diaz winning this fight via decision. Then that fight will then proceed into our co-main event, which is another women's bout against the challenger, which is Lucky Lauren Murphy, who is on a 5-fight win streak, if I'm not mistaken. Her last fight was a win. Her record is 15-4. And here's the scary thing about this fight. If you look at country and then you look at everything under that, both 5'5", both gonna come in at 125. Both stand at a 67-inch reach. Both have 38-inch leg reach. They're identical. Like identical. And just to think that Valentina Shevchenko and Lauren Murphy share the 1 and 2 spots for longest active win streaks in their division. Shevchenko holding hers at 7-fight win streak and Lauren Murphy holding hers at 5 is just insane to think about. And I feel like people are easily going, oh, let me just pick Valentina, which let's not be wrong here. Valentina Shevchenko is a monster. And she's beaten people like, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She's beat Jessica Ai, Katlyn Chookagian, Jennifer Maia, Jessica Andrade, which was her last fight. So she has wins over pretty high level fighters, big names for sure. But she also has two significant losses against Amanda Nunes, who some people consider the greatest fighter in the women's weight classes of all time. I think Lauren Murphy wins this? No shot. I think Valentina. She's just more grizzled. She has more experience, in my opinion. Um, I think Valentina Shevchenko just. I feel like she has more control over her mindset. I feel like she's always ready. She's always in there. She looks focused. So I feel like that plays a big factor when she enters the cage. Um, so I think Valentina Shevchenko wins this fight, and I think it'll be via decision. I think Lauren Murphy is gonna give her a good fight, good hard fight, and I think it'll go to decision. Now for the main event of the evening, we have the featherweight championship. Obviously, we know two championship fights in one night. Can't get better than that. You have a guy like Alexander Volkanovski, uh, 22-1, 5-fight win streak, KO over Chad Mendes, decision win over Max Holloway twice, a decision win over Jose Aldo. This fight gonna be insane. Saturday night, UFC 266, and they're both coming off of wins. Brian Ortega with the win over Korean Zombie in his last fight changed his whole camp out because he took a loss to Max Holloway, and he kind of felt like he was just winging everything inside the cage. His team wasn't doing anything, so he switched all his trainers, everything, like from top to bottom. He switched it out, completely brand new. Then both of these guys were on the Ultimate Fighter season 29. I watched that because it was interesting, and they started brewing up a rivalry. And today in a press conference, they were throwing shots back and forth at each other, so it was cool to see that. But he has really good jiu-jitsu versus Volkanovski, who has good all-around game. So it's gonna be interesting to watch. Uh, Me personally, I got Volkanovski winning. I like both guys. I don't care who wins this. And I like both fighters. They're both interesting to me. They're both entertaining to watch. But I got Volkanovski winning by decision. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna have a little promotional kind of video at the end here, so if you guys want to watch that, you can feel free to watch that. Just something to hype up the fights a little bit. Hope you guys enjoy this kind of video. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Enjoy the fights on Saturday. Enjoy the football games on Sunday. And overall, just have a blast, man. Stay tuned for the next video. Till next time, we out.
Get ready, it's coming.
Oh! Mendez goes down! Alexander Volkanovski, the first Australian-born UFC champion, and the force to be reckoned with. He could reign in this division for some time.
I'm telling you, I'm going to stay champion for a long time.
Know your enemy. Prepare mentally.
Oh, huge knee by Ortega.
Brian Ortega is a problem for everyone.
They locked that cage. My goal is always to finish.
Oh, that's it!
I'm gonna go after the champ, bring a war.
Hell is gonna break loose.
Welcome to the war.
Alexander the Great! Relentless, marauding style with legitimate knockout power. Truly, truly amazing.
Brian Ortega, and this kid is a finisher.
Volkanovski, ready or not, I'm coming.
The cold-blooded assassin, Valentina Shevchenko.
Chin egg killer and a true champion.
Lauren Murphy, second longest active winning streak in the division.
That's a bad woman.
Nick
This guy is as real as it gets. Some of the best boxing in MMA and world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler.
He wants to take your head off.
2 title fights. This card is amazing.
I cannot wait.
Welcome to the war.